In this video, we attempt to qualify for the Gravel World Championships. This did not happen without an absolute fight. We're in a lot of trouble today. Stay locked. If you haven't seen already, I've already made a lot of content about the Gravel World Championships already over on my Instagram. Go check that out if you haven't already. Much appreciation on the last video. The tracker video is done incredibly well. The longer attention spans over on YouTube are doing your bit. Let's get it. Okay, to qualify for the Gravel World Championships, we were going to attempt to do this at the UCI gralloch in Scotland. The gralloch is 110 kilometers. It's got 1600 meters of elevation. It's not one of the longest days on the calendar. The terrain that we were going to be riding on is notorious for the amount of punches that you're going to get. It was going to be a day about how you manage your bike mechanics, how you manage the punches that you're going to get, because there were very few people who didn't get punches on this day. We ran into multiple issues which very nearly caused us not to qualify. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how you can qualify for the Gravel World Championships, the steps you need to take in order to do this. I rode the Belgian Gravel World Championships last year. Honestly, it was the most unreal experience of my life to date on the bike. We're going to talk a bit about the reconning of the course that we did, the setup that I ran at the gralloch, how my race day went, how I overcame all the numerous obstacles that got thrown my way.
What's your name?
Elliot.
You're not Henry?
No.
I'm looking for Henry.
Which really put a spanner in the works in terms of attempting to qualify. How to qualify for the Gravel World Championships. The first year I tried to qualify, for some perspective, I chased around 4 or 5 different countries to try and qualify. I didn't actually qualify. I spent tons of money, tons of energy trying to get to these events. Many things didn't go my way, things on my end that I could definitely have done better. The first thing you're going to want to do is you want to go onto the Gravel World Series or the UCI website where you can pick an event. Ideally, you want to pick an event in the countries where they generally hate cyclists the least. These are the countries like Belgium, Netherlands. The gralloch is a bit of an odd one. I don't know how much the Scottish people love cyclists. It's a really good event to qualify because it leads on to my second point, which is these events have a huge amount of participants. To qualify, you need to finish in the top 25% of your age category or whatever category you enter. Therefore, the more participants there are, the bigger the gap is for you to qualify. Picking an event where there are lots of people there will give you some of the best chances of qualifying. This goes for all gravel racing. You should definitely practice not just riding your gravel bike, learning how to fix a puncture quickly, because this can be the difference of qualifying, not qualifying. Later in this video, I'll show you a reason why it's really important to be on top of it, because my brother put himself in an extremely sticky situation where he would have had to abandon, actually, if he didn't find me on the side of the road. We'll get to that. Do not leave it until the last couple of UCI events to qualify. Now, these are the most sort of oversubscribed events because lots of people will go to these who haven't already qualified. It's just been something that's come up, been like, okay, I want to go to the Gravel World Champs. I'm going to try and qualify. They leave it all to the last minute because these are the most competitive events. These are, despite having big numbers in the event, you're less likely to qualify because the level is just that much higher because everybody is more desperate to qualify. Those are my 3 tips on how to qualify. Okay, for the UCI gralloch, we drove up through central London all the way to Scotland. Now, this was an extremely heinous drive. We had a good wagon this time. We were in the company of the Porsche Macan S. Can recommend. It's not as big as you think they are. The boot space was somewhat limited. It was a handling wagon. Would drive again. We drove up to Scotland. We were staying like 30 minutes from the event. We were embracing the gypsy life, actually. We were staying in one of these like semi-mobile caravans. It was an interesting experience. I'll put it like that. Kind on the wallet. Interesting sleeping arrangement. Okay, the UCI gralloch is actually probably one of the most well-organized UCIs I've been to. The picking up of the number, the food that's available at the event, the pens that you have at the start of the race, everything is pretty well organized. Most people seem to know what they're doing there, which is quite nice. We just picked up our stuff. We bumped into a few people along the way. We headed back home after we did a recce of the course. We just ripped around some of the circuit for about an hour and a half. Some people did get punches. You could see people on the side of the road with punches already in the recon. I think that was a sign of things to come. Nothing's changed with the rock in Scotland. Today, actually this day, my legs were feeling really good, which can be a good and bad thing because sometimes it was actually a bad thing in hindsight because If your legs are feeling really good on the recon, it sometimes means that they're not going to go well the next day. My setup for the UCI gralloch was super similar to my tracker setup. I replaced the back tire on the back. I went for a 45 Pirelli gravel RC on the front. I went for a 40 on the rear. We've got inserts, which is really important, especially for a super rocky race where you're likely to get punches because you're likely to destroy the rim if one of the rocks should touch it. This has happened to me previously. I've learnt the lesson. Again, running the Colnago C68 gravel bike. This is my trusty steed for all the gravel racing this year. I was hoping that this setup was going to take me to qualifying.
No, can you talk us through the setup, please? Yeah, we've got a tyre on the back and a tyre on the front. But he doesn't know what PSI he's got in there, so I've just put whatever the fucking pump goes up to.
No, but legit, what are we
He's not gonna be pinching a tyre anytime soon.
I'm not going to be pinching any tyres. No, but legit,
got
what
about-
pressure are we putting in the front?
We're going to put about 27 in the front and about 33 in the back.
That's legit though. That's
Because
actually
his tyres are narrow.
exactly. Shout out Pirelli.
Nutrition strategy was going to be 2 big bottles of electrolytes, 750ml. There was not going to be any feeding for me on the 110k. I knew it was going to take me about 3.25 hours. That was very good. I was going to take all of my carbohydrate via gels. This was to try and eliminate any issues I think I'm having with cramping. I'll let you know how I've gotten with that. How to qualify for the Gravel World Champs as somebody who hasn't qualified for the Gravel World Champs?
Well, it's
What's
like-
your tactic? What are you going for?
It's going to be a case of, well, you've got to basically just try and get to the finish line as quick as possible. So
Just get to the line. as
but
quick as
it's like
possible,
you
boys.
can either
Thanks for
you can
coming.
just sit at a power all day, or what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to press on a little bit above my limit over the first climb to try and get in a decent group, and then try and surf the wheels and see how I'm getting on. At halfway, I'll see where I'm at with my fueling and if I'm going to press on or not.
How many grams of carbohydrate are you going for an hour?
About as many as I can do. I've got probably
As many as you can do.
I've got 350 grams of carbs on me, maybe a little bit more. Gonna do my first bottle will be carbs, then I'll be on Hydro Pack, which is just electrolytes, and then my last bottle will be caffeine, and then the rest is like gels, and I've got a few tubes, but mostly gels.
I feel like your tyre choice is actually quite important because you actually really care about this.
Yeah, well, my front tyre is good, my back tyre is a bit shit.
What have you gone for?
I've got a mountain bike tyre on the front because my frame just about allows it, and then I've got a 50
Why would you go for a mountain bike tyre?
Because it's quicker. Mountain bike tyre is quicker and it's bigger, so I feel less scared about hitting rocks and like roots and stuff because I don't think I'm going to hit the rim. I have made one major flaw in that I haven't brought any plugs, so
You've got no plugs.
no plugs whatsoever. So
Do not do this.
God's plan.
Do not do this.
God's plan.
The breakfast was pretty bog standard here. Rice, 2 eggs. I think I had some like pickles as well, which is a little bit rogue. Drive to the start. Took me a little longer to get ready. Regardless, I got to the start line and I realized this is definitely something you should do at the UCIs. If you want a good start, you need to get to the start early, like 30 minutes early to get a good spot in the pen. Otherwise, you're going to be down on GC. You haven't even been past the start finish line yet. Definitely don't do what I did here.
This is exactly where you don't want to be at the start of a gravel race.
We get to the start finish. I work my way through the crowd to try and get into the pen in a good enough position. I'm like hopping the barrier. It's a bit of a shit show, if I'm honest. That's totally on me. I hold my hand up here. It was a big mistake. We get going. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Within 30 seconds of leaving the start finish, there's a pile up on the left hand side. 2 guys, handlebars just like clip together. They just take each other out and they almost take out this other guy. He did really well to stay upright, to be fair. He did actually reach out to me after the race, said that he was okay. He had 4 punches in the day. It was pretty unfortunate for him, as well as crashing. That's how the start went. From there, I basically chased as hard as I could to make it to the front group on the climbs. The gralloch starts up a climb. I've said this before in the previous videos, like it's good to train like a good 20-minute, 30-minute like consistent power, because all of these gravel races just go up enormous climbs at the start. Practicing these kind of efforts on a climb definitely helps too, because it uses slightly different muscle groups than it would on the flat. From starting super far back, I ended up getting almost to where the front group was. By the time I got there, I'd spent way too much energy trying to get there. That was a massive error on my part. I knew it was going to be really important to be in a good group. I tried as hard as I could to make it happen. It didn't quite happen. I actually never saw the front of the race, which is pretty sad. Also, for the first hour and a half of this race, I don't know what it is, even though I did my recon the day before, my legs just weren't firing. They just weren't firing for at least an hour and a half. With that in my head, I'm just thinking, okay, if they're not firing now, hopefully they come good for the middle part of the race. We'll get to that. The first like hour and a half, it's like on this like really rocky section. Getting through here with no punches is like a massively hard feat. There was many people on the side of the road. It's just like, oh, okay, this could be me, as like you keep passing people from the elite group, the age group. It just never stops with the amount of people on the side of the road. There's people putting inner tubes in already. This is not even an hour and a half into the race. Rather than riding the bike into things, you gotta want to ride the bike over things. You'll be light on your feet. It's easier said than done, to be fair. It's definitely something to be conscious of. In the first gravel section, we're pumping through. I think I'm like third or fourth group on the road at this point. I've been feeling horrific. I'm hanging on, if I'm really honest. We get to the road section. I inhale 3 gels just back to back because I'm thinking it's a good time to take on some nutrition. Because of the surface is rocky for the rest of the course, it's actually quite hard to eat on the bike. But that was my thinking. This was good because, best believe it, for this middle section of the race, my legs started to cook. The group that I was in, we also started to cook. We were catching people from the front groups, had obviously gone way too hard, hopping like flies at this point, having mechanicals or punchers. This happened for the next hour and a half of the race. Lo and behold, I get to a top 30, top 25 position here. I actually see my brother is actually ahead of me at this point. He's in this group. I get onto the group. It just goes to shit. It just saddle, which has never happened before, decides that it wants to become a seesaw in a playground. It starts moving like this. It's like up, down. To be fair, I've been struggling with back pain quite a bit. It usually goes after an hour and a half of racing. This just made it worse. The seat position started moving forward, backwards. Now my legs are in a position where they don't like pushing power. I just got well and truly dispatched. Just getting dispatched from group to group that's catching me. I can't even sit on the wheel because when you get on your bike, you put your saddle too low, your legs just start burning. I just had this sensation in my legs. It was horrible. There was nothing I could do about it because I didn't have it. Like I had an Allen key. It was in my saddle bag. It was like quite deep in there. Anyway, I ride along. I'm trying to look for an efficient way to do it with my saddle. I see some people by the side of the road. I asked them if they've got an Allen key. This old man kindly lent me his Allen key. I think his wife was there. She was asking if my name's Henry.
What's your name?
Elliot.
You're not Henry?
No.
I'm looking for Henry.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated, guys. I really appreciate it.
Elliot.
We expect you to win this.
Yeah,
Go, Elliot!
thanks.
To help myself in this situation, I didn't keep too cool. I cranked up the saddle. I cranked the saddle up. Instead of it being like this, which is what it should be, it was like this. This was just like, it was better than it just completely flapping around. Then it also wasn't good in so many ways. So that loads of stuff is going through my mind. Like I can't figure out what position I'm in the race, how many people have come past me, how many people I've come past. It's all just a bit of a mess. As I'm going backwards, I'm going up this climb. I see this idiot on the side of the road going, "Does anyone have a pump? Does anyone have a pump?" Lo and behold, it's my brother.
Hey, CO2.
Need a pump or something, man.
Fuck, man.
Who's been on the side of the road for quite some time at this point. He's, I need gas. I was like, okay, you can have one of my CO2s, here you go. This was a massive, not an error from me. My luck was not about to get any better after a good deed here, because my brother was cooked. He didn't have any gas or any way of pumping up his tyre. He wants to qualify just as much as I do. That was a bit of a problem, to be fair. I gave him the CO2, pumped it up, I got going. He actually came like steaming past me. I looked down, and I've got a rear puncher. My back tyre's like, it's going down, it's not going down that quick. I'm like, okay, maybe I keep riding with it. I know it's making me slower at this point. Okay, if I just keep going, I'll probably like hop onto some wheels, catch on, I can still ride it to the finish. I was weighing up the entire time whether it's worth me stopping, pumping up the CO2, carrying on. In hindsight, I really wish I just got off the bike, CO2'd it, got it back up to a good pressure that I could have ridden it on, carried on. But thankfully, I had inserts in my tyres, which I've mentioned earlier. I was like caning the insert on the way down on some of these descents. I'm trying to nurse my bike. I'm trying to nurse my bike back to the finish, like I had no idea whether I was in a qualification position or not. I really had no idea. Good old Harry Myers from the Home Valley Hit Squad comes alongside me. He's been having just as many issues. I've seen him on the side of the road way too many times. He pulls up alongside. I hop onto his group, tries to flick me through to do some work on the front. Best believe it, I'm not doing any work on the front. My legs are cooked, my back is cooked, my bike is cooked. Some fun games as we come into the finish. At this point, we picked up a couple people on the way in, rolled him, got it done. Glad for that to be over. It's okay, track air is 200 kilometers. This race is almost half the distance. I still feel you suffer just as much as you would on a 200k ride as you would on a 110k ride. I don't know, gravel racing is just a bit of a different beast here, really. We get to the start finish, everybody's there, everybody's got a war story to tell. Thankfully, we qualified. I think we finished in about 58th position, which is not a position I'm particularly proud of. I did qualify, which was the main goal. For another year, we're going to be going to the Gravel World Championships. The Gravel World Championships from last year in Leuven, Belgium is a great video to go watch. Shout out to Isaac Del Toro, who featured in that video heavily, who's now in the leader's jersey of the Giro d'Italia. That's a great video to go watch. I can't wait to make a video about this year's Gravel World Champs. Thanks for coming. Let's get it.